live. Tserp, welcome so much to the stream. Thanks for joining us today for this impromptu interview. Sorry to spring this on you, but very glad to have you on stream. Do you want to have any sort
Okay.
of opening thoughts on how you're feeling today?
I'm feeling great. I really just want to thank you for having me on here. And yeah, let's get into it.
Absolutely, man. So it's the start of a new season. I was so excited to see 5 full lobbies. There's a lot of excitement in amongst the community coming off the back of the biggest tournament the public has ever seen for Among Us, with $1,000 in prizes, not to mention attention from possibly the best imposter in the world, 5UP, who has agreed to play with us on Purple server. And just a lot of energy and excitement amongst the community. How's that playing out for you on a personal level?
It's really awesome to see like how much Among Us has grown really since I've come back. And it's really awesome to see that it's really just been popping off.
Fantastic. Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of positive energy. In amongst that, do you find that there's an undercurrent of negativity or toxicity still?
Yes, I do. I mean, even today there was some crazy toxicity because somebody threw a game, and I did not think that the toxicity was okay.
Maybe you can reflect a little bit more on that, without getting into personal attacks or specifics on that level. What do you think is the root cause of the toxicity in the purple scene?
I think that the root cause is maybe some people being angry about some other things in their life and taking it out on the person that threw the game, or just being super mad at the game. But I don't think that that justifies the toxicity, because that doesn't really accomplish anything, and it makes the person that is the victim of the toxicity, it makes them feel really bad, and it's just not worth it.
When you think back about times that you yourself have been toxic, and we've all been there, I've been toxic
Yeah.
too. When you think about the times you've been toxic, how did it make you feel after the fact?
Yeah, I mean, I used to be a very toxic person, and after it I would always feel like, wow, like that person that I was super toxic to is probably it probably made them feel really bad, and that made me feel really terrible as a person for doing that to that person, and nothing was accomplished out of it but bad things.
What do you think was the pivotal moment where you grew beyond that stage of toxicity to where you are now?
So I actually, when I realized that Among Us was kind of taking over my life, and when I was being really just a bad person and really toxic to people, I actually quit and took a break for about, it's been a year, and now I came back literally a week ago. And yeah, so I just had to take a break and reflect on myself, and I think that's maybe what some people should do.
Yeah, so that time away and the reflection, it's almost like you've really become a different person. You've really grown a lot. On a personal level, I'm really impressed by how much introspection you've been able to get through, and yeah, I think the level of maturity you've shown is just astounding. What do you think was the main influence for you in that time away?
And that time away was, just doing stuff, spending time with family, really really realizing how important it is to cherish time with people that you care about, and really how important it is to be nice, because you really never know what somebody is going through at home or at school or wherever it may be.
Definitely. Now you mentioned your family. In amongst your family or your friends, who's someone you really respect and why?
Somebody I really respect is probably my uncle, because he is a very hardworking guy, and there will be a group of people talking badly about somebody, and he'll always try to stand up for that person. And you'll never, even if somebody does him wrong, you'll never see him try to talk badly about them even when they did him wrong, and he always tries to see the best in people.
Has he been an influence on your life before
Yes, definitely.
that growth moment? Yeah, and what's a way in which he's helped you become who you are today?
A way that is really just the kindness that he spreads that he spreads, and how he doesn't talk badly about people, because it's just everybody gets mad, everybody has their bad times, but with him, you really never see it from him. He probably gets mad sometimes but keeps it in so he doesn't hurt other people.
So really, he's
and I
just set
just find it
a very good example for you, someone that
very
you
good
aspire to
example.
be like.
Yeah,
Okay,
somebody that.
that's just such a beautiful thing. Like I really like that you've been able to find someone in your life that you respect like that you can look up to. So now coming back to the Among Us scene, who's like a community member that you want to shout out as someone that you respect?
Um, Probably. Wow, there's like so many that I could think of, but one that probably has been like really nice to me is probably homework since I've come back.
Great. Tell me more about that.
Since I've came back, he's just made me feel really welcomed, and he's just been very nice to me, to be honest.
Yeah, so he's been nice to you. Has he helped you grow in terms of being nice, or has he helped you with specific coaching on Among Us?
He's probably helped me with Among Us
What are some of the
and
like
being
top
nice.
tips do you think that he's given you?
He told me to always like never to sheep and always to trust your gut instinct and to always make sure to listen to the info. And also, it's better to listen to the info if it's from somebody that like is respected and knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, so if you see like a few names in a lobby where you will respect them and listen to their info, what are some names that come to mind?
Um, Jay, Saitama, Cheese,
Mm-hmm.
Homework is one.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's pretty good. Um, there's so many, but just off the top of my head.
Yeah, so if you saw a lobby where it's like Jay, Saitama, Cheese, Homework, and yourself and so on, you know you're in for a good game in terms of high
Yeah,
level play.
for sure.
That's great. What are some ways that like some of these other people have helped influence you to be a better Among Us player?
Sometimes just like listening to people after the game talking about where things went wrong. Even a game that I wasn't in, I still try to listen to what they're saying to make sure that I don't make that mistake myself. Has been super crucial to being better.
Can you remember any specific examples off the top of your head?
Um,
And it's okay if you can't. I mean, it's pretty open ended here.
I'm pretty sure that there was this time when I'm not sure who it was, but somebody threw, and it was that they. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So somebody they were supposed to it was a crewmate that was supposed to like it was on four, and the crewmate was supposed to be hard stacking with the two other clears, like it was between him and somebody else, but he actually ran away from them to go to the lights when the imposter was supposed to be at the lights,
Uh-huh.
and then the imposter was able to kill him and then got a double kill because they weren't stuck together.
Oh no. That's a familiar story, isn't it? You really want the sus
Yeah.
person to be at lights. Yeah. Yikes. So looking back on that sort of crew era, do you find yourself like less likely to make that mistake as a result?
Yes, I definitely know that if you're on four, that if it's between you and somebody else, you got to either be the one on lights or stacking with the two hard clears.
Right. So now when you think about like the things you've learned in your Among Us journey on a larger time scale, thinking back to when you were new to Among Us, what are some things that you wish you had known at the time?
Um, well, I really wish I knew not to like. Are you talking about my beginning days or just like throughout the whole
Yeah, well,
journey?
like the reason why
Beginning
I asked
days.
this question on a concrete level is like, what tips would you have for new players? And the reason I
New
framed it the
players.
way I did is like, what would have helped you when you were new?
Yeah. So what would have helped me as a new player would always like make sure not to clog comms first of all because I would always do that when I first started, and also just make sure to really like take in info and make sure that you're listening to what's going on. Make sure to know the clears, know the game that you're playing, be aware of where you are,
Hmm.
know your pathing, learn all about the map and that type of stuff.
Yeah. Have you like written down clears and stuff? Is that a thing that works for you?
I yes, I actually did used to do that. I had a pen and paper by my computer,
Hmm.
and like when it was like for sure like hard clears, I would write them down, and I would also write down the pairs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now you speak in past tense. Did you find that unnecessary at some point, or like what changed?
Well, as I went on, like I was just able to really like remember it in my head. So
Right.
I just keep mental notes
Yeah, so
now.
like you started playing in the zone and you found yourself not needing the crutch of the pen and paper anymore.
Yeah.
That's great. That shows like a level of ascension. That's amazing. What are some other sort of mechanical tips that like you find yourself doing in terms of physical actions or like other sort of unexpected behaviors that help you play the game better? An example might be like
So
counting after vitals to find out body timing, anything else like this.
yeah. So something that really helped me actually as an imposter was, as I was a crewmate, was make sure to count the time of how long it took you to do a task.
Yeah.
And then when you're faking tasks as an imposter, make sure to get that right so you're faking tasks perfectly. And also make sure that your imposter movement is very good and smooth like a crewmate. And also, like this thing you said about vitals, was counting for how long the body is dead, going immediately to admin table, checking where everybody is, and then basically lead the meeting if you have vitals and admin info
Mm-hmm.
from when the body dies and start clearing people based on where they are on the map.
Wonderful. So thinking about purple server, if you could wave a magic wand, what's something you would change about it?
Probably the toxicity, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Mm-hmm. Now it's interesting you mentioned Homework's name earlier. In Homework's interview, he actually mentioned the toxicity as a feature rather than a bug, and I took that for the deeper answer that it really was, which is he likes the side effect it has of the growth on the players and the aspiration to get them to play at a higher skill level. Um, do you respect that opinion, or do you think that there is a way to get towards the utopia of growth sans toxicity?
Okay, so yeah, there is a line between constructive criticism and just like bullying.
Right.
So I think that it's 100% good for like if somebody throws a game where you're not yelling, you're just talking to them and you're respectfully telling them where they went wrong and how they can do it
Mm-hmm.
better time.
Yep.
But if you're just like yelling at them, insulting them, saying you're so bad, that's going to get you nowhere.
Definitely. And people won't be very receptive to that because they'll start
Yeah.
getting shut down and like defensive, and the
It's really
amygdala
just
hijack
going to make
kicks in.
them not even want to play anymore or be scared to play.
Yeah,
So,
if anything, you'll drive them away from the community altogether. And for
yeah.
some people, that is an objective. As sad as that is, they see that as also a feature rather than a bug. Like, quote unquote, get rid of the bad players so that only good players are around.
Yeah,
And
I
that
really
leads
agree
to
with
sort of
that.
the like pre-made slash elitist culture where only the good players are allowed to play and we never grow the server.
Yeah, I feel like that just wouldn't be good for the community.
Right. So T-Sep, like you're showing a very level-headed and sort of constructive approach to all this. What would you think about like doing a coaching video similar to this interview, let's say, where you bring on a new player onto like a three-way discussion with us, and we sort of like reflect on VOD that a new player has put together, and we give sort of tips to that new player. Would
I
you be
mean, I
open to
think that
that?
that would be like that's a great idea to be honest because that will lead away from the toxicity and lead to the constructive criticism and help people it'll help people improve so the games are better and
Mm-hmm.
it'll just help the community grow and Among Us grow.
Fantastic. I mean, I'm glad that you're on board. I love that sort of thing. I think helping people learn and grow on a personal level for me is very rewarding and a good use of my time. And it sounds like
Yeah.
it would sort of align with your values too.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic. Well, like, yeah, glad we see eye to eye on that. We're approaching sort of the end of my workday here, and love
Yep,
to hear sort
gotcha.
of any like final thoughts that you might have or shout outs you want to give.
So my final thoughts really is just it's really just not worth it to be toxic and bully people. It's
Hmm.
just don't do it. Nothing good comes out of it. And thank you for having me on here. It was really a great time. Some great
Absolutely.
discussion.
Tsep, I was pleasantly surprised by just how many valuable opinions you've been able to share on stream, and thank you for the amazing
Thank you.
interview.
Thank you.
Take care. See you around.
You too.
All right, bye
Have a
now.
good one.